Hi all, welcome to my class. Today we can have a discussion on the chapter The Letters from Mothers of Nejamparabhu to the Supreme Court, written by M.A. Rahman. This particular chapter addresses a very important issue, a very crucial issue from the Calicut district of Kerala, that is the use of a very hazardous pesticide called Endosulfan in the plantations of Calicut district. Let us start our discussion on the lesson Letters from the Mothers of Nejamparabhu to the Supreme Court, and this lesson is written by M.A. Rahman. Let us check the author introduction. M.A. Rahman is a retired professor. He is an activist, a critic and a filmmaker, and he has always been in the forefront of this eco movement against Endosulfan. And he is the recipient of Odakural Award. Odakural Award is an Indian literary award instituted to honor writers for a particular outstanding work in Malayalam language. The work that merited Odakural Award was Oro Jeevanum Vilapettadanu. His documentary, Bashir the Man, won the National Award for the Best Biographical Documentary in 1988. And other renowned documentaries are Kumaranellurile Kulangal, A Paradise for the Dying. His films have been screened at international film festivals at London, Paris, Taiwan, etc. His major works are Bashir Kalam Desham and Bashir Bhupadangal. Let us move to our lesson. This is based on Endosulfan, which is a very poisonous chemical. As we all know, Endosulfan is a very poisonous chemical which is notorious for its acute toxicity, potential for bioaccumulation and endocrine disruptor. And this chemical Endosulfan has been classified as a highly hazardous chemical by the US Environmental Protection Agency EPA and European Union, and as a persistent toxic substance by the United Nations Environmental Programme UNEP, and as a category 2 moderately hazardous chemical by World Health Organization WHO, and as an extremely hazardous chemical by the Industrial Toxicological Research Center ITRC. And it has been banned globally in 80 countries, but not in India. At the Stockholm Convention on Persistent Organic Pollutants on 30th April 2012, 127 countries agreed on a worldwide ban of Endosulfan, to which India objected. India objected, saying that it will adversely affect the agricultural industry. Finally, India agreed to ban the pesticide in a phased manner, giving the government-appointed scientists time to develop an alternate pest control. The area where Endosulfan was indiscriminately sprayed was a hilly area where most marginalized sections of society live. Here lies the point, because where Endosulfan is spraying lives the marginalized sections of society, so nobody is there to raise the voice for these marginalized people. And rooting out these menace was almost impossible, since there was intense lobbying among various departments of the government and scientists. Despite the fact that generations of the populace began to be afflicted with the terminal diseases and congenital anomalies, it was difficult even to win public sympathy, because these are the lives of humans at lowest strata of society, and that the powerful were complicit in this inhuman game. This is the thing. In one side, the powerful people, and in other side, the victims are the marginalized people. And this letter invites the attention to this traumatic situation suffered by the women folk due to Endosulfan. This letter these are some photographs of Endosulfan victims and the activism against Endosulfan. And this is an affidavit which was submitted to Supreme Court. First, it was drafted by M.A. Rahman in Malayalam. M.A. Rahman was a person who lives with these victims, so he gets the first-hand information, and it is translated by B.V. Lesida, and it was signed by 10 mothers in Karadaka Panchayat, Kasaragod. And the paramount importance of this letter is that it was successful, or it was instrumental in bringing out a Supreme Court verdict that favored the victims. This is the importance of this letter, because it was successful in bringing out a Supreme Court verdict in favor of the victims. And the case of Endosulfan, initially the case was filed in the Supreme Court by the youth organization of a leading political party in Kerala, and it was none other than DYFI. And when this letter was submitted to the Supreme Court along with the shocking photographs of the victims, the court directed that it to be submitted as a written petition. First they gave it as an affidavit, and the court instructed them to submit it as a written petition. And the same was later submitted by the famous activist Vandana Shiva. And the Supreme Court verdict, delivered on 17th January 2017, announced a compensation of rupees 5 lakh for each afflicted family as an interim relief, which had to be dispersed within 5 months of the verdict. The dispersal is under process, and the full-scale compensation package will be delivered by the Compensation Tribunal in due course. So, with this information, we are stopping today's class. We can have more discussion on this Endosulfan issue. Today, we can have further discussion on the same topic, and we are moving to the actual lesson. This is actually an affidavit submitted to the Supreme Court on behalf of tens and thousands of victims who are struggling with the terrible misery caused by the poisonous chemical Endosulfan. And they are suffering from deadly diseases. Many have met untimely death in the last 20 years, and many children who are ill-fated are dying day by day. They are trapped between life and death. It was based on a news item that appeared in the Mathrubhumi Daily dated 9th May 2011 with the heading, Newborn Infant of Endosulfan Afflicted Family Dies. Newborn Infant of Endosulfan Afflicted Family Dies. The child who died was born to Mamta and Narayan of Adur, Kaithodam. The child had a premature death at Kasaragod General Hospital, and he did not have eyes. Their second son, Mamda and Narayan's second son, Naveen, a 9-year-old boy, was included in the list of Endosulfan victims. Their another son, Nagesh, who was 4 years old, was also affected. In her third delivery, Mammadacha gave birth to twins. Both children died. As an evidence, the photograph of the eyeless child was enclosed along with the letter. So you think of the situation. In a single family, 2 children are affected by Endosulfan and 2 died. And so this is not only the lament of Naveen's mother, but the lament of many mothers from Nejamparabhu. And another victim was from Nejamparabhu. The photograph of the child was captured by a journalist called Shafi Teruvattu, moving against the authorities of Kasaragod General Hospital. To our wonder, this infant is not included in government's list of people dead due to Endosulfan. The child is not included in government's list of the people who died due to Endosulfan. Now, when we consider Naveen, he is a child who survives with both his legs crippled. He is even blind. He received a pension of rupees 2,000 every month, and that is the only evidence to prove that this family is affected by Endosulfan. Otherwise, no help from the side of government. And Naveen's mother lament, the government took away the eyes of my child. They inflated his head and enlarged his neck with poison. I will bear no more children. And this is the lament of many mothers. And the above statement, the lament of Naveen's mother, is the voice of every mothers of Nejamparabhu. Through this letter, they are trying to pursue Supreme Court to the fact that there are many such mothers who lament on their fate in Kaithod Valley of Nejamparabhu. Spraying of endosulfan was stopped in 2000. Actually, it was stopped in 2000, but still the children born in Karadaka Panchayat are malformed, even after 10 years. Here, these mothers raise a question to the health department. They accuse health department of its carelessness and lack of sincerity. It is a carelessness and lack of sincerity from the part of health department, because it has stopped in 2000 and still after 10 years and all, malformed children are born in Karadaka Panchayat. So you can guess the situation. This is because their lack of seriousness. There are many people in that place with family facing multiple deaths and diseases. They also point out the truth that proper studies are not undergone in this area, and consider it as a criminal negligence from the part of health ministry. It's clearly a criminal negligence from the part of health department. In 2002, the documentary A Paradise for the Dying was shot in Nejamparabhu by M.A. Rahman and team. This hill is known as Minjipadave in Kannada. Minjipadave in Kannada. There they met Achyutan Maniyani. Achyutan Maniyani is a plantation labourer. His job was to mix endosulfan. He has done this job for 10 years and he has lost his health completely. From Achyutan Maniyani's revelation, it is clear that the malformed children are born in Nejamparabhu due to the excessive spray of endosulfan. Endosulfan is the reason for this malformation and all these deadly diseases. And another important fact is that the vast Nejamparabhu, we should analyze the geographical condition of Nejamparabhu. The vast Nejamparabhu lies at the heart of Minjipadave mountain in Adur. Kerala Plantation Corporation's Minjipadave estate, which is known as Adur estate, lies there on the top of that mountain. A huge cement tank in which endosulfan was prepared act as a landing place for helicopters. It is situated in Nejamparabhu. Around this, the pure water veins of Nejamparabhu flows, and these sources of water trickle in streams to the villages in the valley. They overflow over the top soil and the roads. There are two man-made tunnels in Nejamparabhu nearby area. A tunnel means a turangam in Malayalam. And these streams follow to Bellur village in the left and on the right towards Adur village. Bellur village to the left and Adur village to the right, which includes Kaithod. Adur village includes Kaithod. Organic farmers laid out this natural pond to preserve the virginity of the soil. The water collected in these tunnels quenches the thirst of villagers in the valley during the scorching summer. So this is the geographical condition of Nejamparabhu. On the top of that, the spraying and all takes place, and there are rivers flowing downwards, and the water from these rivers are used by the villagers in Kaithod and Nejamparabhu. And long back, one of the streams of that hill was diverted to a village in the valley through the exertions of a hard-working organic farmer called Mammadacha. This is a story of Mammadacha. Mammadacha, with his own hand, made diverted this stream to a village. He lived on the side of the hill and dug tunnels. Armed with only a spade, he diverted the stream to the village down below. Thus, the village acquired the name Kaithod, which means a stream made by one's own hand. Kaithod means a stream made by one's own hand. But Mammadacha's daughter Hajara lived on the banks of that stream. Hajara's children were born as victims of endosulfan. Mammadacha made this man-made tunnel, he diverted the stream to their village, and his daughter Hajra's children are the victims of endosulfan. One of her children, Umaybat Sharia, is with an abnormally enlarged head. The stream, which her father had transformed into a blessing for the villagers, has now turned to be a curse because endosulfan buried high above has flowed downstream. Actually, he did it as a blessing to the village, but it turned into a curse. And meanwhile, it affected Kaitod village adversely. Consequently, Umaybat Sharia, who endured torturous pain for 5 years, passed away in July 2012. And it is the negligence of the Plantation Corporation, the agricultural scientists, the Central Agricultural Department, and the manufacturers of endosulfan. They could not evade from the responsibility for this. An epidemiology study was conducted for ICMR under the Community Health Department of Calicut Medical College as per the direction of Supreme Court. They discovered high levels of endosulfan in the blood samples of Nejamparabhu. So it's there in the blood of people. Apart from this, the Kerala State Council for Science, Technology and Environment, KSCSTE, in its study conducted to test to measure endosulfan levels in the water and soil in the area, discovered endosulfan particles in Nejamparabhu. These all are the results of studies, and the studies clearly proves that endosulfan is there in the blood of the people and in the soil, in the water, etc. And very interesting to note, it was found that the lifespan of alpha endosulfan is approximately 88 days. In the case of beta endosulfan, it is 40 days. The presence of endosulfan in the soil even after 10 years shocked the scientists, because alpha endosulfan, the lifespan of alpha endosulfan is only for 88 days, and beta endosulfan is only for 40 days, but the victims are there even after 10 years, and this shocked the scientists. The deputy director of KSCSTE was of the opinion that since endosulfan remained in the soil of the Nejamparabhu even after so many years, there is a possibility of having it contaminated with food chain. That may be the reason, because it might have contaminated with the food chain. From plants, it must have entered to vegetables and fruits, then to animals, and then to human body, and this wreaked havoc. From the study conducted, it would be revealed once again that the countless deformed children who lead a death in life are a creation of endosulfan, undoubtedly. The Central Agricultural Department, which is manifesting undue haste to export endosulfan, is actually playing with the life of people. They never try to resist this monstrous life-destructive phenomena. The machinery profiteers among the academic community of the agricultural scientists are ignorant of the geography or culture of Kasaragod. They are trying to deprive the victims of even the basic humanitarian consideration they deserve. Shockingly, the manufacturers of the pesticide have issued notice against the doctors in that area who conducted studies. The NIOH study of 2002 has proved that these diseases are caused by endosulfan. The writer even openly states that the CA department suppressed this 92-page report, and it is they who steered clear of trouble. Had the government taken the initiative to conduct autopsy of the victims who are dying day by day and undertaken legal measures to ascertain the levels of endosulfan in the fat accumulated in the internal organs of the victims, matter would have come easier and more scientific. The government is not taking steps to do autopsy of the persons who died. The authorities are not taking the needed steps. And we have to say another shocking contradiction. Shocking contradiction referred to this in this affidavit is that the Central University of Kerala was now it's running, but it was allotted land of 300 acres. In Peria by the government of Kerala. The situation was such that the land will be accepted only if it is uncontaminated by endosulfan. We have to make sure that it is uncontaminated by endosulfan before handing over the land to the Central University of Kerala. The pesticide issue is impacting the rights of civil society. And on the whole, now the villages of Kasaragod have become the setting of macabre dance of death. On one hand, there is dread trepidation about the poison deposits in Nejamparabhu. On the other hand, the everyday dance of death. The affidavit was submitted before the Supreme Court on the firm conviction that those reasons would be enough to ban endosulfan. Moreover, that affidavit was on behalf of the infants of Nejamparabhu. So, this lesson is of crucial importance because it was successful or instrumental in bringing out a Supreme Court verdict in favor of the endosulfan victims. So, I hope you understood the lesson. That's all. Thank you.